Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Now live at 5 o'clock, Democratic State Rep Jewel Jones is back in court again today. In a major blow to his defense, one of his attorneys has called it quits.
The local forecaster is tracking a wonderful weekend ahead, but we could end up seeing a little rain.
And they want out. Residents living around the site of that underground mystery in southwest Detroit say the city should order evacuations.
But we're going to begin here with breaking news. The FDA's Vaccine Advisory Committee has just voted in favor of recommending a Pfizer booster shot for those age 65 and older and those who are at high risk for severe COVID cases.
The vote was unanimous with all 18 members in support. That decision came after the panel soundly rejected the idea of boosters for everyone age 16 and up, at least at this time. Several on the panel of outside experts expressed concern that there is currently insufficient data to show the benefits of a booster would outweigh the risks for younger people.
After the vote, the panel then unanimously voiced support that healthcare workers and others at high risk for occupational exposure also be eligible for a booster dose.
Those details will need to be worked out by the FDA and the CDC's advisory panel, which meets next week. We'll have much more on the meeting and what happens next coming up on Local 4 News at 6 o'clock.
All right, let's look now at the coronavirus numbers as they stand as we close out the week. The state reporting 5,616 new cases over the past 48 hours, averages out to 2,800 cases per day, so back below the 3,000 mark, down slightly from the middle of the week. But 68 more deaths also being reported, including 36 from a vital records review. Now, just in here at 5, the United States military now admits a drone strike that initially claimed to have knocked out an ISIS-K threat actually killed innocent Afghan civilians instead.
The Pentagon claimed the drone strike hit a vehicle suspected of carrying an ISIS-K bomber threatening the U.S. evacuation in Kabul. Military commanders say after an investigation, though, it is now clear the military intelligence was tragically wrong. The Pentagon says it is considering making reparation payments to the families of the victims. Our other top story tonight, State Representative Jewel Jones has been ordered to undergo a mental health evaluation.
The decision came at a hearing today where his lead attorney withdrew from the case, citing a breakdown in the attorney-client relationship. We bring in Sean Lay following this hearing from today. And Sean, the request for the mental health exam actually came from his own lawyer.
That's right. Jewel Jones started the day, Devin, with two attorneys, one asking the judge for Jones to immediately undergo that mental health exam. The other attorney, he asked to be excused from the case. We know Jewel Jones has so much to lose. In court today, he lost one of his key defenders. In a big blow to his case, the attorney who is putting together a defense for State Rep Jewel Jones, Ali Hamoud, says he cannot go on defending Jones.
There's been a breakdown in attorney-client relationship. There's some stuff that's happened prior to this. I believe it's in Mr. Jones' best interest that he gets to seek new counsel at this time. Jones
in court today, this time his hands cuffed and chained in front of him, after the sheriff says Jones was found with a handcuff key taped to his alcohol-themed socks in jail this past Tuesday. The state rep's mentor here to say Jones is not a criminal, he's in crisis.
He's a volunteer police officer. He knows that he could do nothing with that key. Something is wrong.
Today was a hearing on Jones's felony DUI and resisting case from last April. Attorney Byron Nolan is representing Jones. He asked the court for Jones to undergo a mental health evaluation immediately.
So I want to find out if there's something medically going on with him, and then we can get that treated and then deal with the criminal case after we find out the results.
Former State Rep Sherry Gay Dognogo is relieved that Jones will be evaluated.
These are the signs what I'm seeing. This is not the Jewel Jones I know. We don't need to lose any other person, any other colleague that would take their life, that is dealing with alcoholism. And it's something that needs to be talked about more in Lansing. Maybe we need to have more events where alcohol is not a part of it.
Interesting point by the former state rep. Now the judge, He addressed bond in this case, a $100,000 bond. He said he's not going to change it until he can figure out what's going on with Jewel Jones. So Jones is in the Livingston County Jail right now, not at the State House, not working. We asked his staff if Jones plans on stepping down. We have not heard back as of yet. We're live tonight. Sean Lane, Local 4, back to you.
Sean was back after his arrest in April. We saw that video of Jones in jail telling deputies that Governor Whitmer wouldn't be happy with the way he was being treated. So what do we know about how he's faring in jail now?
You're right, and that was a relentless couple of hours of Jones, talking to those deputies. I'm told right now from jail officials that he is a model inmate right now and is very much so behaving himself right now.
Okay. All right, Sean. A group of residents and community leaders in Southwest Detroit calling for evacuations tonight as crews are still working to figure out what caused the road to heave nearly 10 feet up in the air.
Yeah, they say they're concerned about smells coming from the site and other potential health hazards. Priya Mann is live at the site tonight. Priya, state health officials have said there is no threat to the public, but they say otherwise.
Yeah, that's right. Community activists here and some elected officials are calling on the city to do more to protect the folks who live here and to hold DTE accountable. We spoke to folks who live in this neighborhood who are deeply worried for their safety.
I'm concerned about everyone through here. This should not be happening. I don't know what's going on, but I do know they need to find out exactly what it is.
Their concerns echoed by U.S. Representative Rashida Tlaib.
They deserve human dignity. They deserve to know exactly what happened. If you don't know what happened, then what's the plan to evacuate if it happens again?
Tlaib and outgoing Detroit council member Raquel Castaneda Lopez want the city to evacuate nearby residents until the site is secured.
So I am here to call on the mayor's office, on the Department of Homeland Security to immediately go out, canvass the community in English and in Spanish, that folks have access and have options.
In a statement, the city says since the initial incident occurred, the area has been made safe and there is nothing from a health or safety standpoint at this time that would necessitate an evacuation. However, we continue to monitor the situation very closely. Here's where the investigation stands. The city says the original gas line that ruptured was closed off and the bypass should be up and running in the next day or so. Officials say there hasn't been any detectable ground movement in the last 2 days, but crews are taking soil samples to evaluate before excavation begins early next week. However, until the cause has been determined and fixed, elected officials and community groups say families near Fort and Dearborn are at risk.
I want some answers. I do.
The mayor needs to answer our questions. They need to understand that we deserve better.
Now, the city says air quality tests came back normal, that emergency management crews have spoken to every resident in the affected area, that there is no gas leak, and that residents' water and electricity have not been affected. They hope to have more answers by next week. Reporting live tonight in Southwest Detroit, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Yeah, okay. Priya, thanks. Well, some people in Flat Rock may learn when they can return home in the coming days after the Ford gas leak that forced evacuations there. Wayne County says it may have that information for evacuation zone 2 by early next week. And the evacuation in that area was considered a precaution because it didn't have high readings of chemicals. The county is also hoping to have more information next week about zone 1, the area most impacted by the leak.
Weekend off to a beautiful start, but a little bit steamier than what we had. We thought we were getting out of that cycle.
That's right. It really is. Let's get over to Andrew for a look at what's in store for Saturday and Sunday. Hi, Andrew.
Hello to both of you, and Kimberly and Devin. Although the calendar says summer is almost over, Mother Nature reminding us that summer is still in full effect. And why not? With temperatures that are in the low 80s right now across much of the region, anywhere between 80 and 85 degrees. From Pontiac, where it's now 82, 83 for our friends over in Howell, 85 degrees in Ann Arbor. And we're looking at partly sunny skies. A beautiful looking afternoon, evening as the sun continues to set. We're looking at 81 degrees right now. Sunset is shortly after 7:30, and by that time, we'll still be in the low 80s and upper 70s. By 8 p.m., 77 degrees. It gets cooler, but still feels warm to mild with low 70s and upper 60s, but with partly cloudy skies this evening and cloudier skies later tonight. Will those clouds release any raindrops for tomorrow or your weekend? I'll have that and your 7-day forecast in minutes.
Andrew, security is high around the U.S. Capitol ahead of tomorrow's far-right rally in support of people arrested for storming the Capitol back on January 6th. Now, the rally isn't expected to be very large by Washington, D.C. standards, but it is the first large-scale security test since the Capitol siege. Officials say they're ready. Let's get to Alice Barr in Washington tonight. Good evening, Alice.
Good evening. U.S. Capitol Police have made a lot of changes since the deadly January 6th siege. The department's new chief says that while they're hoping for a peaceful rally tomorrow, this is a good chance for them to practice their new interagency model.
The U.S. Capitol today has all the appearance of a well-guarded fortress. A 7-foot-tall steel fence now encircling the grounds, a heavy police presence, and new security cameras scattered over the property.
We're not taking any chances.
It's all in preparation for tomorrow's rally in support of people arrested during the January 6th Capitol siege. Capitol Police determined to prevent a repeat of anything close to that deadly day and eager to demonstrate changes they've made to better respond and to identify threats.
We have dramatically changed the way that we process and share intelligence.
Investigators say there have been some threats of violence for tomorrow's event.
We would be foolish not to take seriously the intelligence that we have.
The event organizer, a former Trump campaign aide, insists it will be 100% peaceful. He's expecting around 700 people to rally for those charged on January 6th, who he claims were not violent.
We are prepared to have a peaceful exercise of our First Amendment rights.
Still, every Capitol and D.C. police officer will be on duty. The National Guard asked to stand by. Members of Congress urged to stay away, as officials hope they are overly prepared for a peaceful event instead of overrun by the kind of violence that has forever changed security in the nation's capital.
Security officials are saying attendance may actually be lower than originally anticipated because of false conspiracy theories circulating among far-right groups that this is some sort of trap designed to arrest more people. Police are very clear that they are here to protect First Amendment rights and say that if all goes well tomorrow, this fencing could come down shortly after. From Capitol Hill, Alice Barr, Local 4.
Okay, Alice, porch pirates in Oakland County taking things to a new level.
Yeah, head here at 5. The defenders with video showing the new tactics some are using to target valuable deliveries.
Also, why a federal judge decided to push back the trial for the men accused of trying to kidnap Governor Whitmer.
But first, Detroit Public Schools are dealing with a critical staffing shortage, and it might not be what you think. We'll have that coming up next.